Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors on this beautiful Monday morning. I know we always talk about Monday, what a special day it is to start the week, and just think about all the good things we can do this week. I get up on Monday morning and say, man, I'm going to do this week. I'm going to do this and that. So, make your plans to do a lot of good things this week. So let's get started off by watching Panhandle Outdoors. Got a lot of good stuff on the show this morning, a lot of fresh stuff and a lot of stuff. You've got a great tip for you I think you'll really enjoy. But first, let's get our weather by Haney Technical Center. High today is going to be 83, low tonight 63. You got a good 20-degree span right there. It'll be nice, cool nights, and water temperature stays at 82 degrees. Now, let's take a look at our tide. Our tide chart for today, we're looking at September 24th. The pattern, we have a high tide at 4:49 in the morning. Okay, we're just getting a high tide, so the tide is going out. It's going to go out all day until about 3:46 this afternoon. But I want you to look ahead now to this weekend. We're talking about some neap tides. We're not having a tidal flow this weekend, so just be prepared for that. It's got there's a lot of flat water for starting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right. Now, also like to every Monday morning, I take a look at our Monday moon forecast for the week, and you're going to see some similarities in this. We're looking at our moon chart, looking again on Monday the 24th. So you see it's building up. Now you see why we're having some of these neap tides. If you look toward the end of the week, toward our full moon coming up around the 30th, that's going to control the tidal flow. We're going to have some really strong tides before and after, but right there around the full moon, just won't be any kind of tidal flow on this time around. So that's our Monday moon forecast. Now, it reminds me we're getting set up in our fall pattern, and the fall pattern to a fisherman means a couple of things here on the coastline. First of all, we think about these mullet. They're going to start moving around a little bit. The flounder is going to start moving a little bit. And in fact, I already got a report this past week on the last Friday. I've got a report on some people seeing some nice balls of mullet already. The small ones now, not any big ones, but some small groups of mullet already getting together. So it won't be long before we start talking more and more about mullet. So get ready for that fall pattern. Freshwater also means a lot too. Some really good brim fishing in the fall. So we'll all be prepared for that. And y'all send us some pictures, and we'll share some of that with all of our viewers. All right, let's take our first break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Now, what we're going to do, we got some pictures set up for you. Had a lot of pictures sent in recently, and we're going to start rolling some pictures off the iPad here. And we're going to start off with this big buck. Check this out, folks. This is our own Captain Todd Jones. He's taking a break from his fishing. He runs backcountry outfitters and all. He's a good fisherman. I have a son in class, and he went out to Missouri this past week and got this really nice buck right here. So congratulations on that, Todd. That is a nice one right there. Now, the next picture, we didn't go very far. We went down to Tarpon Dock Seafood and got some pictures. We want you to know there's lobster in Tarpon Dock, and you're talking about some pretty fresh seafood. They've got them right down there. I just want to throw that one in at you. All right, let's go over to our next one. Tom Gurley sent me this picture. This is down in Cape San Blas at the lighthouse. This is the lighthouse keeper's house right there. But that last storm that came in, if you look over to your left at all the erosion that occurred, they pushed it back about 20 or 30 yards. The next storm is going to come in and get those houses unless they're moved. That's just something that's going to happen. That one of the highest eroded. You can see how much sand came off from the bottom of that stump right there. Tom was down there the other day and sent these pictures to us, and he did an excellent job. And like I say, that's just one of the most, if not the highest eroding spot in the state of Florida. Now, coming around the corner, here's two of my favorite girls, Mandy and Megan Miller. Of course, Mandy married now. We have to call her Mandy Warren. But Mandy and Megan, this is last year's dove shooting up there at Daddy's place, and that's right around the corner, folks. So we're going to be talking about some dove hunting, so go ahead and get ready. And this was the duck boat. Okay, I'm going to get some duck reports coming in. And then last week, we talked about the lionfish. We had the divers on, Clayton and Bob were on, talking about, they got 40 of these lionfish. This is a highly invasive fish. I mean, they got 40 of these fish in one trip last week. And now we're talking about noodling. This is when you go noodling, and this is the wrong way to noodle, okay? The fish won this one right here. I couldn't help but to get you something on Monday morning, get you going real quick. Now, over here, this boat right here is going to be given away at the Elizabeth Bardoff fishing tournament. I want you to go ahead and get your tickets. You can win this boat. It's worth $1,800. You get tickets of $10. We're going to give it away. Jeff Bodoff sent this to me. We'll talk more about it, but that's be coming down the line on October 13th. Go and mark your calendar. The Elizabeth Bodoff Memorial Redfish Tournament up there at Lynn Haven Park, and they're going to give away all kinds of things too. You can buy chances on like trips and everything, and that boat and motor. So $10. That's a good chance to win that. All right. Now let's talk a minute about I got some notes from the FWC Center. No, they're getting a lot of reports across the state and here also about the bears. They're seeming more prevalent as far as being alongside the road and all. People are seeing them, and they're seeing a lot of bears just sitting there. And what the biologists are telling us now, these bears, the bears are sitting there and just eating, and what they're doing, they're just storing all this food, in their bodies and all, getting ready for this long winter. To them, it's a long winter. And it's just natural habits. If you see a lot of them just sitting there eating and all, don't be alarmed. They're not just sitting there waiting for you to come by. They're just eating acorns, everything else they can just stuff in their mouth. So it's not unusual behavior for bears to do that. Okay? Now, I mentioned, let's bring in, let's set this up. Can we see that, Jeff? We got that on there? This is one of our, all right, dove season. We want to be talking about dove season coming up the first weekend, the first Saturday of October. We've been getting our fields ready, been showing some videos and different series of how we're going to dove shoot and everything. And one of the things, if you do some research on doves, they don't live about a year. They'll have about 4 or 5 hatchings a year. And in those hatchings, most of they're just a couple of eggs each time. But the dove, most of our dove are what we call domestic dove, but are resident birds. But they love. I was looking at their diet, and about 99% of what they eat are basically going to be seeds. I mean, you can throw out corn, everything, all you want, and they may eat some cracked corn, but they're not going to do. They're going to jump on a big kernel very much, but it's got to be cracked up. So if you are baiting them and all, make sure you're doing it legally and all. But the best thing to do is like we've been doing starting last spring. Just grow stuff naturally that grows natural in this area, and that's what they'll take to. But the biggest thing, these resident birds they'll stay within a 5-mile range. A resident dove will stay within 5 miles. Research, they've tagged them and researched them and all, and they know for a fact they will stay in that 5-mile range. So if you got them in your area, you want to keep food out there for them, keep natural food out there for them. Now we're going to have a dove shoot, and we may shoot the gun one time, we may not shoot, or we may shoot 30 times. You just never know. And we hope we'll get some migratory birds coming in, ahead of some fronts and all. That's what you're always hoping for. You have some resident birds there, and then you get some migratory birds coming in. So I may bring my decoys out and all. I try all kinds of things. I haven't had a good dove shoot in years. So I'm just really looking forward to it, and want you to go ahead and go and get your place set up, or try to get up with some people and all. Okay, and tomorrow I'm going to have Captain Ken Paramore, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. Captain Ken Paramore will be on the show, and we'll talk about different phases of the dove season and different things that we can and cannot do on that. Okay, remember too, a dove, chicken will scratch, and I know you've all seen chicken scratch feed and everything feeding, but they have a really strong feet. By now, dove, if you look at they're really weak, and they don't like to scratch around for food. So they're going to just eat what's laying there. They're not going to scratch around for it like a lot of birds would do, but a dove will not do that. So remember that when you have seeds and all on the ground that's naturally occurring. Okay, I haven't heard, speaking of birds, I'll be getting together some duck reports from this past weekend and seeing how all the duck hunters did up at Seminole and Deer Point and on the river down there. I hope everybody has some good luck, but I'll try to get some reports and let y'all know tomorrow on the first phase of duck season. Okay? All right, let's take our next break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. We'll set up something now. Jeff and I are going to give it a try. I've never shown you anything off YouTube. Always there's some good stuff on there every now and then, but I've never had an opportunity to show it now. With the technology that is, we're going to try to show you something. It's going to be strictly from YouTube, and I saw it. Someone sent it to me on email, and we're going to run it. I want you to pay attention now. So it's not going to. Now this is at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay, and we're actually this is a YouTube right there. I'm going to see if. Okay, now what's going on? She's catching a big redfish, okay? This is a daughter, family vacation in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You got to watch this quickly, and you're going to be amazed at what you see. There's her dad over there. He's going to come help her. She's got a 5-pound redfish. They're sitting there in the marshes off Myrtle Beach, and she's all excited. And you can see that rod bending. She's got a nice fish, and you got to watch. Start watching. She's pulling it up, and the cameraman's walking out there, and she's about 14 years old, and there's that redfish. And watch closely, okay? Watch closely. Got a redfish here. Boom! Here comes a shark right there. So that's it. Can y'all see? Can y'all believe that, folks? We that was off YouTube. Now I debated whether to show it to you, but I was just amazed at it. That can show you. That's a bull shark, and you can look at it a couple of times. That's not scripted. That just happened. That fish has been struggling out there as a wounded fish, and old bull shark was just sitting there around that marsh area. We're talking a lot about the bull sharks, and so now that we have technology, every now and then some really neat stuff comes on YouTube, and I'll be able to share it with you. And it's not long clips. That was less than a minute right there. But if you get a chance, to tell your neighbor about that. That happened so quick, and I can promise you, as we sit here talking, as you laying there in bed or getting ready for school or work, as we're getting ready, I guarantee you, those bull sharks are sitting in Apalachicola Bay, St. Joe Bay, St. Andrew Bay, and Choctawhatchee Bay, our 4 bays. I guarantee you those bull sharks are sitting out there wanting to do the same thing and get them a free meal like that. Okay? Now, let's move along. I always like to give y'all I don't get to do it every day, but I do a tip of the day. And what I want to do today, I was thinking, one of the things we can do, I want y'all to look at this rod tip right here. The rod handle, okay? This is cork rod handle. Now, you can see how dirty it is and all. It's from handling, you're fishing, you got worms and whatever on your hand, and so you're fishing all these years with it, and they get dirty. Well, you can actually get. Now look at here on this back side, how clean. Look how pretty that is right there. And all I did, this is our tip of the day. All I did, I just took some sandpaper, just some little fine grit sandpaper like that, and you sand it down. In fact, you can probably see some of it right in there? Look at there. I can do the whole. I just did half the handle to show you before and after, like one of those infomercials. But you can sand it down. It looks brand new. So that's your tip of the day. Now get you some fine grit sandpaper. Get your old cork rod handle. I always love cork handles. I've always liked them. They're just original handles, and they're comfortable and all. They're absorbent. So we made a mess here, Jeff. So anyway, fine grit sandpaper and clean up those rod handles. Okay, you have a brand new rod handle, and you won't have to get your wife to buy you another one. Now, I haven't talking about some other stuff now. On the Battle of the Piers, I've been checking out on it, and nobody really wants to give us much information on it, but they are still going to have some starting the first, mainly the month of October, that first weekend of October, all the way to November. They're going to be having $7,500 of prizes they're going to be giving away to the biggest fish in each category. It's a weekend tournament, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday afternoon they'll say whoever caught the biggest flounder on which pier and whatever, and that'll be coming up. But they haven't told me anything, so I want you, if you get a chance, check with your county commissioners, check one of your county commission buddies and see. They run the county pier, or out at Panama City Beach, y'all can check with some of your councilman members over there. Ask them why they haven't told anybody on Panhandle Outdoors about this pier tournament they're going to have. I can tell you the answer. They don't want us locals to fish it. So we love having a tourist down. They can come fish right next to us, but I think locals should have a shot at that too. So if you get a chance, we're going to advertise. We're going to talk about it, even if they don't want us to. We're going to talk about it and let y'all know about it. Okay. Now, we showed that big old buck a while ago out of Missouri that Captain Todd Jones got, and that was a beautiful buck. And I got to thinking, we all like to hunt other places a time or two during the season, and a lot of us can, go to Georgia or Alabama or Kentucky or Ohio, and that was a Missouri buck right there. And we need to know the cost. So I have this little chart here. Put together a little chart last night of what the permit, what it cost. In Alabama now, a 3-day permit would be $120. 10 days is $170, and the annual one is $275 for the Alabama hunting. Now, Georgia would be around $90, okay, for just a 3-day, and then look at Kentucky, the annual, and I think they have a 3-day one too, but we just found the annual one at $190. In Missouri, now Missouri's pretty high. That 3-day permit in Missouri was $120. So you just want to go up there and hunt for the weekend and all. That's about what the price is going to be. Okay. Now, also, you know, if you can plan ahead, you want to go, when you go to one of these out-of-state hunts, you want to go with somebody that's hunted that area. You just want to go up there and just take time scouting it out and all that, unless you have a week or two and all. But you want to hunt with some locals up there. I know, you know, went to Greenville, Alabama last year. I was hunting with some locals. I've hunted Eufaula with some locals, and if you go up, and I know we give away that bow hunt each year, those guys go up there and they're actually on a hunting lodge and all. So all that stuff is important that you know the territory. I know Kenny Bostick's up there in Missouri now. He's scouting it out. Okay, now let's take a look at our fish and game forecast, our times. Look at this phase right here, Panhandle Outdoors fish and game forecast. We're looking at this morning from 8:09 to 10:09, and tonight from 8:35 to 10:35. Okay, so what we have going now, this nighttime, I think, you know, floundering is really, again, we're talking about different times of year, floundering is really starting to pick up. Late September is when it kicks off. It's like the first quarter. I always think of things in ball games. So we're starting the first quarter of floundering. This week, really, this past weekend, I know some folks got some flounder, but the full moon coming up this weekend, you know, most people say they don't like going on full moon. I don't like to go on full moon because, you know, everything's so bright and everything. They can see your shadows and all. So this weekend may not be a good weekend of flounder, but now the weekend, and plus it's not going to be hardly any tidal flow. But in the weekend, after that, the weekends, subsequent weekends will be really good for floundering. So keep that in mind. All right, let's take our final break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. I'm sitting here playing on this. Now, we're talking about all the things to do in the fall. I mentioned this the other day about fall camping. I mentioned Falling Water State Park up there in Chipley to go camping. But today, let's feature St. Andrews State Park. If you know, St. Andrews State Park offers so much, and I've got it up here on Google Earth. If you get a chance, just go out there. Now, right here, that's the bridge at Captain Anderson's. I'm using this rod tip, Jeff. That's the rod. That's Captain Anderson's. Then we're coming down. All this, that's the jetties right there. Now, I'm going to zoom in on St. Andrews State Park, okay? Now, what we want to do, what's so great about it, okay, is you can fish out there in the surf. You can fish off these rocks right here, or you can fish back there in the bay off that point, okay? This point right here, that's called Deepwater Point, right there in the center of your screen. Deepwater Point really holds some Spanish when they're moving around. That's a great place to fish. I know when 30, 40 years ago, I used to love going there even before I had a boat and fishing for Spanish. And then on around, you got your boat ramp here, and you got waterfront campsites all through here along the bay. Beautiful. Then here's the dock right there in the center of right there. There's your dock right there, and there's actually some really good fishing right across the bay there. Some of those other docks hold some really good redfish. See those docks there around the Bay Point area? Really good red fishing right in there. So tourists can come down here and not know a whole lot about it, but not actually have to leave the whole campground. Of course, there's Gator Lake there in the middle, and I've caught bass out of there. I don't know if people are still catching bass out of there, but you can catch and release some there. And then around here, if you want to do some surf fishing, excellent surf fishing all up through here. And then they also have right here in the center, is the state park pier right there, and it doesn't go out very far, but when the pompano are all running, you can catch some nice fish right there. And then, of course, back down here to the jetties, a lot of people will enlarge that jetty area a little bit and let you sort of fishing off these rocks now. You got to be careful and all. You don't want to slip around, but that's a lot of fun fishing off those rocks. And then, of course, if you have a boat going across the Shell Island, is also a lot of fun. That little area right there in the center, it's some really nice holes if you're surf fishing right in there. So that whole area of St. Andrews State Park, I'd recommend that as a great place to go fall camping over there at St. Andrews State Park. And I always think that, I can't help but think when I mention that state park, I always think about Jack Mashburn. He was a state legislator in 1952, and he introduced a bill to get that land for us, the public, and some developers wanted it. And he lost it next election because those developers got out there and whipped him because he stood up for the people. But Jack Mashburn is a hero in my own eyes because today you and I and everyone else can go out there and enjoy that St. Andrews State Park. And if developers gotten hold of it, we never would ever see that pass. So I always appreciate Jack Mashburn and doing that. Okay. Now, speaking of things going on out toward Captain Anderson's, coming up pretty soon. I have to get a date for it sometime in October, but they're having a couple of things going on. But one of the things like a fishing festival, and Pam Anderson had emailed me about that, and I'll get you dates on that coming up. I want to say sometime in October, and also a fish fry on a Monday. I think maybe the 22nd or something on Representative Steve Sutherland. They're having a free fish fry for him, and we come out there to the parking lot out there. They're going to do it up right, have a really nice fish fry, and I'll tell you more about that later for Representative Steve Sutherland. Okay. Don't forget, oyster season opening up October 1st. These are for commercial oysters right here in Bay County. We have a good supply of oyster, but these guys are getting together. And they're going to limit themselves to like 10 bags a day. I was talking to some of them the other day, and they know if you go out and just be a hog about it, there won't be any left. So they're smart enough. These are some old timers doing this. These guys not just coming in here and jumping on the oyster. These old timers said, we got to get together, and we've got to limit ourselves to how many bags of oysters we get. So I admire them for doing that and having vision and foresight to do it. And, the FWC is not telling them to do it; they're doing it on their own. So that's really good. Okay. Now a couple of other things. We're getting ready all this week. I have some good videos for you tomorrow, and then coming up later I have Captain Ken Paramore. Now, if you have any kind of questions you want me to ask Captain Paramore while he's on the show, he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's coming straight from the horse's mouth. You hear the rules and regulations on all the fishing and all the hunting. I have several reports. I'm not going to have time to get to them. The weekly law enforcement reports. One of them was oystering out of season over here in Bay County, and then this other one over in Holmes County. Can you believe somebody night hunting? This time of year they're hunting at night up there in Holmes County, and they got some plainclothesmen busted them. So what they did, they got a tip from someone in the public and said, hey, somebody's up there night hunting, and sure enough they went up there and got them the next night. They were able to get them. So always that's our job as citizens to keep to help FWC out to stop these illegal activities that they're stealing from you and from me and our families when they get all this stuff. All right, I've run out of time. Listen, tomorrow got a good show lined up, and on a Monday now, you make sure you go out there and have a great day at work, and you do something good for somebody, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.